Hey people, Sylvius here. It has been a slight while. I honestly don't know when I made my last Leaf video. And I know it's been a while since I made any Tibia videos too. And I have literally no idea what I was doing. Alright, hold on a second. Apes, badgers, mammoths. Alright, I guess I was just gonna go straight to tasking mammoths. Was that the plan? Why am I carrying terror boots? Why? Oh boy, I have no idea what I'm doing right now. That's cool. Okay. Hey, Santa's still around. That's surprising. Alright, well, we're just gonna kind of dump and run here, I suppose. Yeah, my junk from Santa Claus. Just drop those off. I probably won't need a lot of pots for just tasking mammoths, which is where I'm heading to. That said, I want to get all this crap out of my inventory. Crap out of my inventory. Alright, we're good. Since I don't have blessings, I'm just not going to walk around with 8k. I feel like that's probably a great idea. So yeah, folks, it's been a while. As I kind of said in my last little my update of sorts, I'm just swamped with my work schedule. I try not to just keep complaining about my job, so I'm not gonna just go off on a rant about it. But yeah, I mean, like my schedule last week was Saturday I worked 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. Oh man, somebody's here. Really? Saturday I worked 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. No, other way around. I'm sorry, 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. I had off Sunday technically, and then I worked Monday 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. The thing is, though, that doesn't count as a day off. You know, if you work every day 8 to 4, right? You work in an 8 to 4 shift, and then your boss goes, "Oh man, by the way, tomorrow instead of 8 to 4, can you work 4 to 12? 4 to midnight." That's not a day off. That's just your shift was pushed back 8 hours. That doesn't count as a day off. I mean, like, a day off is when you go, I mean, what? Like, normally you work, you have 16 hours off, and then you go back to work again. So you work, have 16 hours off, and so on. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, I mean, that's how that works, right? So it's a day off when you have work. So you have 16 hours off, and then you have another 8 hours of not working plus another 16 hours. So it's 16 plus 24, right? Right. Yeah, that's right. So 40 hours. You have a day off when there's been 40 hours in between your last shift, assuming you're working like a normal, repeatable schedule. Making me work until Saturday night at 10 until Sunday at 6 a.m. and then not having to come back in Sunday, but coming in the Monday at 6 a.m. is not a day off. But yeah, so then after I worked that shift, they had me work the next day. So I worked 6 a.m. to 2 on Monday, and then Tuesday I worked, why am I killing these anyway? I worked 2 p.m. to 10. So yeah, my job's just like killing me. All of my free time is being spent right now on, like forcing myself to be awake when I really don't want to be, or forcing myself to sleep when I really don't want to be, so that I can like rotate my, because like I have a day or 2 days to rotate my sleep schedule exactly 8 hours pretty much. And it's killing me a little bit. Yeah, I'm like looking for another job now, and I'm like just super don't want to work with that place anymore. It's just it's an awful place. Like, it's shockingly awful. And then one of the things I learned when I just got reprimanded for it, for Christmas, we got in a whole bunch of, like, I don't know how common this is in the rest of the world, but we get a whole bunch of, like, cheap, overpriced crap that we're trying to sell as, like, Christmas presents. Basically, that somebody would be in there to get gas or get their coffee in the morning and see something and go, "Oh, yeah, man, that if I buy that, I don't have to do Christmas shopping for my I don't know, probably isn't a parent doing this, so probably like my like niece, I won't have to get her a present. Yeah, I'll just get her this Barbie doll that's a cheap knockoff made in China that was probably a comparable Barbie is probably like $10. This cheap knockoff is probably like $2, and we're charging like, 15 for it. So whatever. So yeah, we had like drones. Like drones. I don't know what else to say. We had drones. And like the day we got it, the box said normal price $119, on sale for $59.99. So like from the start, it was half off. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. You couldn't see it. I just did air quotes while I said that, by the way. It occurs to me that you guys can't see me when I speak sometimes. So yeah, it's like cheap, made in China, like lame plastic, junk crap products. I mean, like, I don't know what else anybody's expecting when they get stuff in the from a gas station, but whatever. So one of the things we got was like speakers that you could plug into like an iPad or an iPhone, or God, what's the iPod? That's the word I'm looking for, or any other kind of MP3 player. Okay, I have no idea what that was. So I mean, like, there are these little speakers. They were $29.99, and they like were filled with water and made like bubbles come out in time with the music or something like that. I don't know. Unsurprisingly, they sucked and were crap. Wow, that's a lot of backpack. Really? Am I even opening it up at this point? Okay. I will take the dung balls and the thing. I don't know what happened here, but we're just gonna roll with it. So yeah, anyway, like, a lady comes in, she's like, yeah, I like bought this for my kid, and like the quality on the speakers was just really, really terrible. Like, here's my receipt, I want to like refund it. I'm like, yeah, alright, sure. Now they don't really like it when I do refunds because we're a corporation and we have blind adherence to policy that nobody thinks about. So, I mean, like, that's the only explanation I can give. We have blind adherence to policy that nobody ever thinks about to see if it, like, serves any kind of purpose or anything along those lines. So, yeah, we'll go with that. So, in the first place, like, they don't like it when you do refunds. So I'm like, alright, well, I gotta refund this lady's stuff. And, like, the other cashier who was there, who, like, has, I guess, seniority and knows more than I do, he was busy, so I'm like, alright, I'll just refund it. So I refunded it, and then afterwards he's like, oh, you can't do a refund for that. And I'm like, what? Why? He's like, oh, because that's like one of the products we bring into the store. I'm like, yeah, as opposed to all the other products that spawn in the store? Like, what are you talking about? He's like, yeah, no, those things, like, we just don't do refunds for. I'm like, so if it's broken, what do we do? And he's like, she has to call the manufacturer. I'm like, she has to call the manufacturer, so she buys a piece of crap at our store. Even if it wasn't a piece of crap, actually, that's not relevant. If she buys anything at our store, and we're going to tell her, sorry, it's out of our hands, you've purchased it from us, we don't do refunds, are you joking? That's, like, so incredibly shocking. After he said that to me, I was like, wow, that's shockingly stupid. That's got to be, like, the worst level of customer service I think I could imagine. And again, this is on top of like a crappy product that's a piece of junk. I was like, wow. But yeah, one of the things that got me going on at this point is they're trying to like lower my no sale. Well, everybody in the store has got too many no sales. For anybody who hasn't worked on a cash register, a no sale is when you open up the cash register drawer by, using the buttons that are on your cash register, but without making a purchase at the time. So you're opening it without making a sale, in other words. Hence the term no sale. So like that's basically what you do when you're like, you need to open up the register for any reason. And there's a bajillion valid reasons why you would need to do so. Like a customer comes up and goes, hey, can I break this $10 bill for 2 5s? You open up your register, you take his $10 bill, you give him 2 5s. At the same time, because we're a gas station and we're really concerned about being robbed, there's a policy where I'm not supposed to have more than $100 in my register. And technically, that includes coins. They don't want you to, like, specifically count your coins or anything like that. But as a general rule of thumb, I shouldn't have any $20 bills in my register. And, I like shouldn't have more than maybe 40 and fives and maybe like one or two $10 bills or something along those lines. Um, there's like a little bit of leeway, but like yeah, generally speaking, my manager has specifically said to me that I should, once somebody gives me a $20 bill, just like immediately deposit it in the safe. Which just to like point out, to deposit money in the safe involves like walking away from my register. There's 3 registers there, all like at the counter in a row, and register 2, the middle one, is the one that has the safe underneath it. So if I'm not on 2, it means like walking away from my register 1 or 3, possibly being in the way of whoever's working on register 2. There's like a little touchscreen panel. I have to enter my PIN number, and then there's like a vending machine, you know, money acceptor, and then you have to stick the money in it 1 bill at a time. So like, he wants me to, every time I get a $20 bill, just like stop waiting on customers and do this. Let's kill the Barbarian Brewmaster. I forgot she was here. There we go. Oh, that worked out well. So, alright, like, it's an anti-theft policy, but I don't think it makes sense. In a lot of different ways. For starters, like, if somebody sees me constantly interacting with the safe, they're probably going to assume that I have access to the safe in some degree. So, like, if somebody's planning on robbing me, they now are pretty confident that I can work the safe in some way, shape, or form. And me telling them, like, after they've, like, that, and that's the thing, like, once they've robbed the store, it's a little bit too late at that point. Like, when the dude robs the store, and then I gotta be like, yeah, like, I know you just committed, like, a huge crime, and you just put yourself in, like, a lot of jeopardy by this action. But yeah, I guess you're gonna be happy with, like, $20, right? You know, he's not gonna, he wants a certain amount of payout for the risk he just took on. I guess I could get robbed by a woman, but whatever. So, like, you know, when he's already there freaking out because he's just committing armed robbery or something like that, and then I'm like, yeah, you're basically getting, like, 1 day's worth of my paycheck. You know, for all of the risk you just took on, or something like that. He's going to be upset and, like, angry, and then he's now seen me operating the safe, potentially, so he's not going to believe me when I go, oh, yeah, I don't know, I can't open up the safe. Now, I can get money out of the safe, but it can only come in $5 bills and $40 increments, and only once every, like, 2 minutes or something like that. So, I mean, I guess if he wants to hang out while I keep withdrawing money in $40 increments, he can do that, too. But, like, that's what I'm saying, like, I don't think it's, like, a huge policy, and, like, if we get robbed, I'd rather the person be happy with his payout and then just leave. Yay, it's nobody. You know, like, I want Mr. Armed Robber to be like, alright, I'm committing armed robbery, I'm, you know, panicking, I'm freaking out, I could potentially be going to jail for a long time. If this goes really wrong, I could end up getting shot by the police or something like that. I want him to be like, alright, good, I got $500. I'm happy. This is a good enough payout. As opposed to me being like, well, here's a 7 $5 bills and 19 20s, or 19 ones. Like, I don't remember shooting there. You know, like, can my gas station not afford to... First of all, my gas station specifically has never been robbed. So, in the, like, 5-6 years we've been open, we have a 0 robbery rate. Which, like, okay, I get that you don't want to get, like, complacent or anything like that. For sure, you don't want to get complacent. But on the other hand, like, even if we get robbed once a year, or even, let's say we get, like, robbed, like, twice a year. So every year, the difference, like, if I had, let's say, $200, the store's losing $400, and I'm pretty confident I'm not going to get killed, versus now I can give the guy, like, $50, the store's going to lose potentially, like, what, $100 a year versus $400 a year. So, like, a 75% reduction in loss, but I feel like is a significantly greater chance that I'm going to get shot. More importantly, it's just a policy that puts a whole bunch of, like, extra stupid work on me. Anyway, though, I went and I fell into a little tangent there, because the thing is, they don't want us, like, opening up the register doing a no-sale. So, like, I need to constantly be in my mind keeping track of how much money is in my register and like taking it out at certain times. And, you know, there's still always, like, the risk that somebody's going to, like, right after I deposit all of my 20s and have 110, somebody's going to be like, oh, yeah, I want to buy the soda, and here's a $100 bill. And then I got to go to the safe and things like that. And more importantly, while the safe is underneath Register 2, it's actually connected to Register 1 for, like, bookkeeping purposes. So when I withdraw $40 worth of fives out of the register, if I'm not on Register 1, the safe and the computer system thinks that those ones that were just withdrawn are being put into Register 1. So at the end of the day, when we close our registers, my register would be $40 over because I magically withdrew money from, like, you know, magical space. Whereas Register 1 would be short because I never, you know, it lost money. So whenever a register other than 1 withdraws cash, they have to give the amount of money that they just withdrew back to Register 1. So when I withdraw fives, I have to give Register 1 two $20 bills, or, you know, some degree of tens or something along those lines. So, like, if I deposit all of my 20s and my 10s, and then somebody comes in and cashes a $100 bill, I use all of the fives I have to withdraw more fives, so now I owe Register 1 $40 for the fives I just withdrew to pay this guy back. And then on top of that, I still have no more fives because I just gave all of them away. So I need to get more fives. So now I owe $80 to Register 1, which I need to keep track of and things like that. Anyway, so these are all like reasons why I need to go in and out of my register all the time. And, you know, like if a customer comes in and is like, hey, can you break this $1 bill? I need quarters for the air pump machine that you guys sell as a service. Or, you know, like if a person just like, you know, if I short a person $1 or something like that, or I don't give them correct change. Or like anything along those lines, if I like in any way, shape, or form need to open up my register, I'm not supposed to. I'm supposed to. This is like the ingenious thing of our store. How many no sales we're supposed to have a day? 3. We're supposed to have 3 no sales a day. Now that might seem reasonable if you think about it. Like, I can keep track of how much money is in my register. And I can just wait until a customer, you know, orders something. And if you come in and say, hey, can I break this $1 bill so I can get 4 quarters to use your air pump machine? I can tell you no, or tell you you have to wait until another customer buys something, or tell you you have to buy something. And I can just, you know, I can just give you horrible customer service, but I mean, that's something that can happen. But that's actually not reasonable, because when I said 3, it wasn't me specifically. I'm allowed to do it 3 times per day. It's our store is allowed to have a total of 3 per day. So we would have potentially, I think every day we have, what? A night shift guy. So 1 night shift guy, that's 8 hours right there. A manager who's on for some degree of time, usually a morning shift person, and like 2 afternoon persons. So like you could have anywhere between like 24 to 32 hours worth of cashier operating on a given day, and out of all of those 24 hours, you're only allowed to have 3 no sales. Conceivably, like when I come in at like for a 2 to 10 shift or something like that, all of my no sales could have been taken. In fact, the most likely time to do no sales would be on 3rd shift, when there's like nobody else there, so, and not a lot of customers. So if a customer comes in, I could go, well, you have to wait until somebody else buys a product, but that could be like, you know, an hour until another person comes in or something like that. So yeah, we're not supposed to have any no sales. And that is specifically because they don't trust us, and they don't want us opening up the registers because they think we're going to steal stuff. Which is the little insult that I think kind of like comes out there. Why am I not on my donkey? I keep forgetting that Leaf has a donkey. Because, like, there's no other reason why you would want to not have multiple no sales being recorded on the register. And the only reason you would do that is because you think your cashiers are stealing things from the till. Which, like, okay, for starters, it just generally shows that they, like, they don't respect their employees in any way, shape, or form. Like, this is a corporate decision, of course. But, like, that corporate just assumes that all of us are just, like, you know, thieving pieces of trash and that are just waiting for a chance to, like, steal money from the register. So, if we ever needed to open up our register for any reason, their first thought is, yeah, that guy's trying to rob us. Which is great. But, like, that doesn't even make sense because the stupidest way to steal money from the register is just opening it up and taking the money. For starters. And for two, I mean, like, if I wanted to just steal money from the register, I still have plenty of opportunity literally every time a customer buys something. Like, if I'm at work today and I'm like, you know what, I'm just going to take a $20 bill. They probably won't miss it. It'll be fine. I'll just take a 20. Which is a bad idea. But, like, you know, if I was going to just say that, you know, when I only have one customer and my customer pays in cash, I just leave the register open after giving them their change, and then when they walk away, I take my $20 bill. That's how easy that was. Look, it's not complicated. So, like, I don't get why they think that, like, not allowing no sales is gonna somehow cut down on their... I mean, I guess, like, it would cut down on me, like, sitting there and being like, oh, man, I'm tired today. Like, I gotta get home. Oh, that's right, I gotta pay my credit card bill. I wonder if I have enough... You know, I just steal money from the register right now. No sale, boop, stole $1. You know, it'll cut down on, like, the impulse robberies. But, like, I don't know. Furthermore, I feel like, to a certain extent, if you have, like, that level of distrust in your employees, or, like, if your employee is the type that would just, on a whim, pop his register open and take something from it, the register is going to appear short, okay? Like, there's going to be a period of time, when he finishes his totals, the register's going to be $20 short. And then there's going to be a record of that no sale, of which they can just look at and go, okay, he no saled the register at, like, you know, 7:23. Let's look at the camera. Oh, look, right at 7:23, he's just opening up his register and taking a $20 bill out of it, you know? Like, if your employee is actually of the sort that's just going to do that, you probably want him to do that sooner so that you can just get rid of him. Because, like, in all honesty, too, if your employee is of the sort that's just going to randomly steal money, he's probably a poor employee all around, also. So, like, it just seems incredibly silly to me about the whole no-sale thing. But yeah, so they're getting on my case because I have too many no-sales now, too. The whole job just sucks. Like, just amazing. But on that note, actually, like, right now, it's 9:58 p.m., and my work ends in 2 minutes. But it just turned to 59. My work ends in 1 minute now. You'll note that I'm currently making a Tibia Let's Play, and that's because I called out of my crappy job. Which is actually, like, great. I should call out of my job more because it makes me feel, like, super, super happy. And now I have 2 days off in a row, so I'm like, yeah, vacation time, living on cloud 9, need to call out of my job more. I feel, like, usually pretty bad, though, calling out, and I don't like doing it without, like, a good excuse. Luckily, my job gave me a ready-made excuse. So, right, yesterday, I go to work, I'm working 2 to 10, and, they're like, yo, could you, we have, like, a task for you to do. I'm like, okay. Now, the tasks that they give are the thing that I sort of... I don't really like about the job. Some of the tasks themselves are okay. But, I just don't like... I'm scheduled to be there as a cashier. So I want to cashier. You know, like, that's what I'm, like, mentally prepared to do. And then they're like, oh, okay, can you, like, go restock all the milk or something? I'm like, ah... Now, like, specifically restocking all the milk is kind of a job that I enjoy. Because it's very, very time-consuming. So when they're like, hey, can you go restock all the milk? Like, you can come back an hour later. And, like, and the time kind of goes fast. I actually like those jobs where there's like a clear start and a clear finish. Um, where like not like tasking, for instance. Like tasking, there's just an arbitrary number of things that I need to accomplish. And that's just as annoying as saying you just need to like hunt for 2 hours or something like that. On that note, though, 54, 60. Okay. Like some of the more annoying quests, like the Postman quest, for instance. Like I don't dislike the Postman quest as much as some people do, because it's a series of tasks. Do task 1, do task 2, 3, 4, 5, complete all of them, and you're done. Whereas like actual tasking just has like an arbitrary number attached to it. And like I don't know. I like there to be a start and a finish to what it is that I need to be doing. So I like, for example, I like restocking the cigarettes because I can look at all the empty cigarettes and go, this is what I need to do today. And then as I start restocking them, I'm like, I am 15% of the way done. I'm making progress, and stuff like that. So I like doing the milk in that sense. But yeah, so like some of the other tasks though, I don't really enjoy when they make me do them. Also, I don't like when they do that just in general, because it's really, really hard when you have like 2 employees to balance out the like distribution of work to make it seem fair. And like I'm definitely feeling like I'm being given more crappy jobs than some of my coworkers. But anyway. So on that note, they're like, yeah, can you we have like a task for you. And I'm like, all right, what's it gonna be? And they're like, okay, can you one at a time take every item off the shelves and then dust and clean the shelves? I'm like, are you joking? What? So no, I mean, that's what they wanted me to do. They wanted me to like go to the shelves, take everything off of like one specific shelf, put it on like a cart that we have, and then like dust and kind of like Windex the shelf, and then put the stuff back on after it dries. And then do that like one shelf at a time for the entire store. Because, nobody has cleaned the shelves ever, basically. And they're like super dirty and dusty and everything like that. So I'm like, okay, now I have now not a terrible one, but like I'm allergic to dust. And like when I'm at home and I'm going to do like cleaning like that, which I generally don't do, because like as long as the dust is like inert and staying on like, my counters or something like that, it doesn't bother me. But once I start like launching it into the air is when it starts bothering me. Really quickly at that. So I'm like, all right, like I have a dust allergy, and they're like, oh, I mean, you'll be fine, just go do it. So I'm like, okay, okay. So I start doing it, and I'm going through all this crap. I just real quick hold on, I'll kill this other mammoth first. I wanted to just check and see how big my file is, see how long this is going, because I again did not take any note of when I started the video. I really need to work on that. And I'm also down to 3 spears. Alright, real quick. Alright. 1.6 gigs. I think we're fine for now. Although I'm thinking I'm gonna loop a little bit to the south and then kind of go back up. So I started like doing it. And yeah, the shelves are super filthy. Like clouds of dust are hitting me in the face. I'm sneezing, my eyes are like itchy and like watering, my throat's all scratchy. And then when I sneeze from, like, an allergy, I have to make this sound. Which is the sound of, like, me vibrating the back of my throat. Because it itches like crazy. So, like, I'm just, in general, like, irritated. So, like, I go to him and I'm like, yo, like, I'm, like, really allergic to this dust. Like, is this a job that can be, like, done later or done by somebody else? Like, I don't want to like shirk my responsibilities, but like this is like physically like harming me. And they were like, well, our district advisor lady, she like might be in today, and like, she might want this done. And I'm like, dude, first of all, she comes in, like, every other day. Because our store doesn't do a lot of things correctly. Well, our store isn't hitting the sales numbers. I think I mentioned this before. But our store isn't hitting the sales numbers that corporate, like, wants us to be hitting. And it's because they didn't really, like, I don't know. I'm not going to get into that right now. The important part is, like, it's not that our store particularly sucks. It's just that we're not hitting numbers that corporate wants us to be hitting. So she's, like, comes in all the time to be like, well, maybe you guys would make better sales if, I don't know, one of you shot yourselves or something. I don't know. So they're like, yeah, she might come in. I'm like, all right, well, is she coming in? Like, she might come in is a stupid reason for me to do this. So they're like, well, you know, the last time she, like, came in, she said it was, like, looking kind of dirty. So, like, I don't want her, I want my store, like, my manager is basically like, the store's a dump, but I don't want her to know that. So can you clean it real quick? So I'm like, fine, I'll go back and do it. So, like, I'm still doing it. It's taking way longer than I thought, and I kind of thought it was going to take forever in the first place. But as it turns out, one of the things I need to do is, they wanted me to, like, put the items back on the shelf in, you know, like, item that's going to expire sooner in the front, item that's got, like, you know, longer in the back. You know, common sense, basically. Well, as I started doing that, I noticed a whole bunch of items had been expired. So then I had to go through, like, each and every item as I was doing this, trying to pull all the expired things. So I'm like, okay, we'll do it. So, like, it's taken a lot longer than I was expecting. So I'm getting really, like, sick. My nose is really, like, running and stuff like that. Now, like, that's basically all that's gonna happen. I mean, the dust can kind of, like, irritate my skin, but that's not that big of a deal. So I go back to him though, and I'm like, yo, look, like, you know, like, I got, like, kind of bad allergies. Like, I got, like, a minor case of asthma, too. I mean, like, it's ultra unlikely, and I didn't say this to him, but, like, it's ultra unlikely that I would have had, like, any kind of real problem. But the problem, like, the odds of me getting, like, an asthma attack weren't zero. And, like, yeah, it's making me sick, and I still, like, they did this at the beginning of my shift, and I still had, like, 5 hours left at this point. So, like, I'm trying not to get myself, like, you know, at death's door. Well, not that bad, but, like, and then still have to work the rest of my shift. So I'm like, look, the dust is, like, really, really making me sick. Like, it's, you know, it's gonna, like, ruin me for the rest of the day. And they're like, oh, okay, well, here, take this. And then we have, like, a food service department. And when you work in the food service department, you have to wear, like, a hairnet so that your hair doesn't fall off into the food. And we don't have anybody, but if you happen to have a, like, beard, we have a beard net, which is a hairnet that goes around your beard. You loop it around your ears, and it prevents your beard hairs from falling out. So they handed me a beard net, I'm sorry. You know, like, a thing with holes large enough that I can actually, like, wiggle my finger through, and that's going to do exactly nothing to stop dust from getting in my face. And they're like, all right, get back to it. So, I got back to it. I continued working until it got busy enough that they were like, all right, you can stop now. And then I went home, and I stayed up until 2 a.m., and I just called out. Like, screw you guys. Screw you. I called out, you know, and, like, the whole time I was there, I was like, oh, yeah, I feel, like, terrible. You know, like, I was working it up, right? Like, I don't want to blindside them with it because, well, I mean, I'm sure they didn't assume that I was going to call out. So, like, they were still blindsided by that. But I still want to leave, like, a paper trail, so to say, of me being like, well, I gave you, you know, like, I don't want to just call them and be like, yep, can't come in today. Give them plenty of, like, time to be like, well, just in case, you know, Sylvia's did, look at me doing, Sylvia's did, like, you know, give plenty of warning on this kind of thing. So, you know, I kept saying it. Before I left, I said to my coworker who was working third shift, I'm like, dude, I feel terrible. Like, I gotta get home and get some Benadryl. I hope we have Benadryl. So yeah, then I called out at like 2 in the morning. I'm like, yep, didn't have any Benadryl, and it gave me like a rash on my face. So I can't come in. And the hilarious thing is, he just didn't tell anybody. Like, he works until 6. The manager comes in at like 4:30, and another person comes in at 4 or 5. And then his relief comes in at like, 6 a.m. He just told exactly nobody. So then at 2 o'clock when I was supposed to work today, they called me and were like, hey, why aren't you in? I'm like, oh, because I called out. Screw you guys. Oh, man, do I hate that job, though. Ooh. Oh, yeah. I don't know. So, yeah, I'm looking for a new job. I just, like, desperately don't want to work there. I'm pretty sure that at this point, like... So, a while back, I was, like, talking about that one weird manager and stuff like that. Well, he quit. The other manager got transferred. So now we just have one guy. A whole bunch of other people have, like, since quit and stuff like that, too. So we're, like, desperately short on people. They're making, like, no effort to accommodate me on anything. Which is, well, it's whatever. Like, I'm not going to pretend that I'm, like, more valuable than anybody else, but yeah, I'm pretty sure, like, my manager is just, like... And, I mean, to be fair, like, I sort of understand where he's coming from. Like, my training was really, really poor on a whole bunch of things. And, like, it's not necessarily my fault, but, like, still the end result is that I'm kind of a crappy employee. And, like, I get that. I mean, it's unfortunate, but, like, I get that. And rather than, like, retraining me from the ground up, it would probably be easier to just get another person and, like, who doesn't have an incorrect foundation and just start from scratch. But he can't, like, actively fire me, because that's, like, requires a whole bunch of paperwork, and then they'd have to give me, like, unemployment. So he's kind of, like, stuck between a, like, rock and a hard place, so to say, where he probably just wants me to quit. So, yeah, I just constantly get things, like, he's just constantly on my case about, like, oh, yeah, you opened up your register 3 times today. You opened up your register 2 times today. Oh, my God, you did, like, a refund. You did too many voids. Oh. Or, like... I'm sorry, but, like, when I'm scheduled until 6, my shift is over at 6. Now, like, if I started something and I left it undone and I shouldn't have, I can see asking me to stay. Like, if I, like, decide to clean all the coffee pots or something like that, and then just didn't clean 2 of them and left them unclean, I could be like, yo, Sylvius, finish up the coffee pots. But otherwise, like, my shift ends at 6. I'm done at 6. There is no... like, I'm not gonna just stay for another task. Now, if you ask, I might. But, like, the key words were, like, you ask and I might, Like, at that point, it's up to me if I want to do something for you. Right, I still can't get into the house because Dao Dao never unlocked the door for me. Alright, well, in that case, we're gonna go pick up my Adventurer Stone and then head to the depot. Or to the temple. So, I mean, like... You know what I'm saying? Like... For starters, too, this place schedules you until 6, but you can't leave until your relief comes in. So, like, if I'm there until 6, I can't shut my register down until the 6 o'clock person's coming. For starters. And for 2, then I have to, like, shutting down your register involves, like, taking all the till out, counting all of the money, printing receipts out from the safe, like, adding a whole bunch of things together, filling out a piece of paperwork, and then, like, putting everything together. And that can take, like... If you're uninterrupted, that can take like 5 to 10 minutes, depending on how fast you are and stuff like that. So, like already I'm not out until like, 6:05 or something like that. And the one day the manager was like, can you go like restock all of the milk? I'm like, what? No? He's not doing that. So he got like all upset that I didn't do it. And then the next day he was like, oh yeah, you left without doing the milk. Dude, I'm not doing the milk. You insane? Alright, folks, anyway, that's it. I try not to complain about my job, but wow, do I hate my job. Anyway, for now, though, like, favorite, comment, subscribe, check me out on Patreon, Twitter, and Facebook. And also, while we're at it, if you're so inclined, my video has, like, ads on it, and you could click one of those ads, because doing so gets me, like, 10 cents. Alright, folks, I'll see you guys later. Oh, and also, too, I totally have no idea what buttons I just pushed. Wow, I don't know what buttons I need to push to turn off my recording program. This is amazing right now. But yeah, the one other thing I want to comment on is, oh yeah, today is, at least for another, tomorrow is New Year's Eve. So Happy New Year, people. Now let me try to figure out how to close this.